What's going on, Canfield Nation? Welcome back into Coca's Pizza here in Canfield, Ohio. Richie Giuliano, I'm pleased to be joined by head coach Mike Pavlansky. Coach, how you feeling tonight?
Feeling great, buddy. Just much better than last week, and
Yeah.
good to be back into the swing of things.
Now, this is the first game that you missed in how long?
40 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
40 years, and
Yep.
you haven't missed a game until last week.
The last week, and it's what happened.
Yeah.
And we tell our kids, hey, if you're not feeling well, you stay home. And certainly nobody wants to mess around with the virus and spread it. And not came down with last Tuesday, not feeling real well, so I stayed home. And a lot of confidence in our kids, a lot of confidence in our coaches. And we've always talked about, at Canfield, it's not about a coach, it's not about a team or a player.
Yeah.
It's about the team itself. And those guys certainly went out Friday night and gave a great account of themselves in Bellevue, Ohio, and came home with the win.
Yeah. Now, you'd have been itching during that game.
Yeah.
You texting everybody getting scores. I mean, how did that work from home?
Well, it was challenging. There's no doubt, especially early on when there was no live feed up there for to watch the game, and then couldn't find a radio feed, and finally my daughter sent me a link for one, and got it in the end of the first quarter, and kind of calmed some nerves down because you can listen to it at least.
Yeah.
And again, so happy for our guys and our coaches, and the Canfield community, and how proud our kids made them.
Now, who took over calling the plays down there? Who was the captain?
It's always a team effort with Coach Cobfell and Coach Seminaro and Coach Morrell and Coach Scala, and everybody's got their 2 cents in. And ultimately, it came down to Coach Cobfell in the press box. He's been with us since 2012, and Coach Hurley was the acting head coach. Anytime I'm out, we've known that for years, and he did a fantastic job. And again, having former head coaches on the staff, such as Coach Ignazio from Boardman, Coach DiGiacomo was a head coach at Woodrow Wilson back in the day. Those guys have been through the fires before. So our kids were in great hands.
First game you missed in 40 years.
Yeah.
I know you're a film guru. You're always in there after the games. You're staying up all night. Did you get any sleep during this week, or did you just watch the game over and over and over?
Yeah, I certainly got up early Saturday morning and watched the game once it was uploaded. And then, hey, it's Poland week. Yeah. Nobody sleeps during Poland week on our side of 224 or on their side of 224.
Yeah, they're coming to our house this time here at Canfield. You got a big win. That was awesome for your family last year, doing the coin toss and everything.
Yeah, I think the Poland community, Poland administration did a fantastic job, and honoring our mom, our dad, and the rest of our family. We're not here without our parents. There's no doubt about that. And that was really neat for our mom to be a focal point of that. But like Tom and I have said since day one, since he got hired at Poland in February of 2021, it's not about the coaches. This game is about the people that are playing between the white lines, and it's about the schools, and it's about the communities, and certainly not about the coaches.
I'll tell you one thing, you guys got some great leaders on this team, including the 3 guys that we got to interview earlier with AJ, Jimmy, and Ryan. Kind of touch on your seniors and how special they've been, especially when you're out. They know how to play. You already told them, I don't even have to be on the sidelines. You guys can take care of business.
Absolutely. Special senior class. There's 28 of them. We haven't had 28 seniors probably since the mid-2000s. And, there's a reason we have 28. 1, they enjoy each other. 2, they enjoy the game of football. Okay. And we're fortunate that they're here with us. They wanted to play for Canfield and nobody else. And there have been great leaders throughout the wintertime, the summertime. And, our young guys, I hope they're paying attention to what these guys have done and what they continue to do, throughout the season.
Now, even though you weren't at the game, able to watch some film, what are some of the takeaways you took away from Bellevue? Because that's a pretty good program that you guys have on the schedule.
That's a tremendous program. They flutter between Division III and Division IV. Their coach has been there for 32 years. They've averaged 8 wins a year. So we went on the road and beat a really good program. What we took away is we improved from week 1 to week 2, and that's exactly what we needed to do. Pleased with our effort, how hard we played. There's some things we've got to clean up, and one of them is offensively. It's the second week in a row we started with a 3 and out. We can't do that Friday night. We've got to be able to sustain the ball, keep the ball away from their offense, to have a chance to win this thing. Defensively, we still have a young secondary. We got to clean up the pass coverage in the secondary. And, up front, our front 7 guys are playing really well right now. And there's some things for them to work on. But if we can, start fast and our secondary can take another leap Friday night, okay, we're going to have a chance in the fourth quarter to win.
Yeah, with your style of football that you've taught over the last couple of years, when you've got 2 big guys as tackles and then you got an experienced center with Jimmy sitting over there, I mean, you're in for a good season. You only lose Bowen last year in the tackle position, so you bring everybody back up front for the most part.
I mean, that's certainly nice. If you had choices, myself, I had choices. I'd rather have an experienced offensive line rather than an experienced backfield. With an experienced offensive line, we can move the ball and tell those guys to do maybe some certain things you can't tell a young line to do. But again, it doesn't matter how experienced they are. If they don't get better every day in practice with their techniques and their fundamentals, we're not going to be successful on Friday night.
Big one coming up against the Bulldogs here at home. 1-1 coming into this. Your brother obviously on the opposite sideline. I think this is a better Poland team than a lot of people have talked about so far this year.
Absolutely. Much better team. And Tom and I have talked about this. This is not a knock against their kids. Their kids are talented, from Pagano to Natoli to Behringer to Fulton. Those guys can play the game. They got some big boys up front, and Solich, and can play. But I think they're a better team this year. They might have been more talented last year with all those guys, but they're certainly a better team. They played together, and you can see that on tape. We pointed out to our guys that a big play happens on the field. That whole sideline is excited. The place because of their sideline, they're running to grab that running back, or they're running to grab the defensive guy who made the play to celebrate with them. And that's neat to see because that's the type of football we want to play.
What's the keys to victory on Friday night?
Well, obviously in a rivalry game, you better win the turnover margin. Okay. That's number one. I think in the last 10 games that I've gone through, the team that has won the turnover margin 8 times has won the game. Okay. Number 2 is rushing. Now, you could still throw the ball for 300 yards, but if you run the ball better than the opposing team, that's 9 out of 10 years. And last year was a year we lost. We won the game. We lost a rushing battle 137 to 136. So that's the only difference there. Friday night at 10 o'clock, the only thing you have to look at, turnover margin and rushing yards. Whoever rushes the ball better and whoever creates turnovers has a great shot at winning the game.
Now that you missed your first game in over 40 years, you got a new feeling when you take the field on Friday night. Maybe I don't want to take these games for granted.
Nah, it's certainly, I hope I had that every Friday night, because those days are numbered. I'm telling you, they're not, I'm not looking at another 10 years, that's for sure. Okay. But I enjoy every Friday night. I enjoy seeing our kids competing in the red and black. I enjoy the stadium. Bob Dove Stadium's a special place to play. You roll in and you see the parents tailgating, and you got the band there and the cheerleaders, and it's many coaches have come to Canfield and said, what, this is not a game. This is an event here, and I agree with them. And I don't know how many Friday nights I have left, but certainly I'm going to enjoy every one of them.
Your team's been challenged so far in the first 2 weeks. Really good West Branch team, really good Bellevue team. You predict 17 wins between the two teams this year, and I'd probably agree with that. Is that something you look for in the early half of the season to get these guys some really good experience?
Absolutely. We want to find out how good we are earlier in the season. We don't want to walk into a season. We're going to run into the season and put our kids in. I think traditionally you'll see we put our kids in great situations in the first couple of ball games to figure out what our strengths are and what our weaknesses are. And then you can prepare for the rest of the year from there.
Good quarterback play from Brock Lowry so far. He's a leader on the field, obviously going to Indiana. So is that something you look for earlier in the season for him to kind of guide the way offensively?
Brock's tremendous. I can't sit here and say enough good things about A, who he is, and then B, the type of coach he is on the field. Just very typically of Brock last week. Okay. I'm turning the tape on and I see a pattern I don't recognize. I got 2 guys running a pattern that I know. And he said, Coach, I saw a coverage. I told the guy just to slip down the middle of the field. That was our first touchdown.
Yeah. And Scotty Eaton had 3 of those.
Yeah. Without a doubt. So, he has mentally grown up and can see the whole field and puts our guys in great situations. And these guys over here will tell you changes plays to the line of scrimmage, a lot of the times. And, we're comfortable with what he does. And like we tell Brock before every game, just be Brock. Don't do anything different. Be Brock, and that's good enough for us.
I think it's key for you guys to start 2-0, especially with some different pieces in the backfield and some new wide receivers getting some playing time. And defensively, you replace some linebackers, of course, with a big trio leaving from last year. Yeah. So, that's a great start for some guys that haven't gotten a whole lot of playing time.
It certainly is. As experienced as we are up front, offensively and defensively, we're that inexperienced at linebacker and in the secondary and at the wideout positions. We're still feeling our way through about who our guys are. Nobody's really jumped up and grabbed the mantle to say, listen, this is going to be my position. And we're still working through that and playing a lot of guys. And, eventually somebody's going to come through for us. There's no doubt. We trust them, but that's got to happen sooner rather than later.
Coach, appreciate you coming out. Big one coming up.
Yep.
You can watch the Cardinals and Mike Pavlansky's squad. He's back in action on the sideline here this Friday. Canfield and Poland, the Battle of 224. We'll have it here on YSN on Friday night at 7 o'clock. Another Coach's Corner brought to you by Coca's Pizza here in